paper magic will survive like the heat death of the universe, and will...
Oh, it's a smuggler's copter. Would you like to crew this? And then it crashes because they don't understand arithmetic.
All your cards belong to me.
2 minutes into macing him in the eyeballs, I switched to pepper spray. He's like, yeah, it's all right, refreshing. And went back to the mace.
Magic is dying. I'm done. Selling everything.
I might be a hoarder. And
I
yes,
don't have the crayons or glue to explain this to you right now.
What, are you gonna die twice?
Oil will be worthless before magic cards will.
well, okay, Dr. Man.
That's Mr. Dr. Professor Jason.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Brainstorm Brewery. All four of us are here, in a manner of speaking. Welcome into the show, everyone.
What?
Which manner of speaking?
A manner of speaking. Look, everyone's here to various
You know that old chestnut, all of us are here? That old idiom?
Look,
Who knows
some
what the
people-
original meaning of it was?
Some people are here to varying degrees. Some people are like on one level down here. Some people are at a much higher level. It's just a lot going on in this show, you know? We welcome everyone in to Brainstorm Brewery, where we have a lot to talk about. But first, I have something before I forget that I have to bring up. Sometimes Douglas Johnson will like to have a little fun. As you know, he runs a service online where you can give him money and he sends you cards every month, and it's really awesome. Sometimes he says, hey, Jason, send me $5. I'll send you something cool. Or, hey, Corbin, send me $8. I got something neat for you. And in the past, I've done this without questioning because, of course, I'd like to be surprised.
You always snap the
I forget the last thing I sent you. I remember doing this like 2 or 3 months ago.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
And you're just bringing this up now.
It's been a long time.
Yes, because like I like wanted to bring it up and then forgot, and then just I don't know, it got set aside, backburnered, and then I was out of the country, and I found it again recently, and here we are.
This has I forgot it on the porch for 3 months energy, or I left a dead rat on the counter for a week energy.
No. Like I opened it up and it was in my car. So, but here's the deal: when someone asks you that, send me $8, I'll send you something cool. You always say yes, right? The world is predictable and boring, and everything there ever is to know exists in your pocket. You got to have a little suspense in your life. So I said, sure, DJ.
For the concept of gambling? That brings us around to our main topic, FanDuel Casino.
I'd take that money for
FanDuel
sure.
FanDuel Casino and all online sports gambling is this generation's opioid crisis. We just don't know it yet until it destroys hundreds of thousands of lives, and we're like, whoops, I guess 24/7 commercials for gambling were bad. Now that everyone had to sell their house to a Chinese bank.
Well, it's funny you say that, Jason, because I gambled in this case and I lost. Because you know what DJ sent me? He sent me a Shards of Alara booster pack. The only problem is that booster pack was empty. Literally, he sent me an empty booster pack. Why did you send me an empty booster pack?
Because that's the set you started playing with, and I thought you would think a Japanese booster pack wrapper of Shards of Alara is cool, especially because you framed Pokemon booster pack wrappers.
I did think that was the origin.
Started playing with.
Yeah, I thought that was the origin. They're part of a whole display, though.
And this is a display in the making.
Yeah, it was an empty booster pack that arrived in the mail.
That was legitimately pretty thoughtful of him.
I know, but I had to work it out though, because Ben was there with me when I opened it, and he was like, "What is that?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I think DJ told me to send him something. Yeah, let's see what we got." And he's like, "What?" He was so dumb. He's like, "What? Why would he send you that?" I was like, "I don't know, Ben, but." That's what you get. Sometimes you high roll, sometimes you low roll. You know,
it's what do you get for the man who has everything?
Empty booster pack.
It's like the pilot of Breaking Bad where he shows up with the ramen. That's what you got. You got ramen, and you were a dick about it.
Corbin, you started playing Magic with Shards of Alara. You still have a Mayo Commander deck, like.
That's true. That's a sweet Commander deck too. Good point. And you know what? I just took apart Sharoom not terribly long ago.
I never played my mail deck because it was always the one people borrowed.
It's a nice, fun... It's a very classic commander archetype. Big, dumb stuff, but with a small commander who enables it. But outside of that, it's pretty open into what you do, right? It's a fun commander deck. Anyway, welcome into the show, everybody. Now that we've got that out of the way, and we were able to do that because we're all together, me, Jason, DJ, and of course, Cass is here as well. We just haven't got a chance to hear from her yet. What have you been up to, Cass?
I played some Bloomburrow 2 Giant pre-releases at SCG-Con Baltimore over the weekend. Got to draft a cool cube. And it's mostly it. Honestly, just a lot of limited Magic for me recently.
Thumbs up, thumbs down on Bloomburrow. What do you think?
I really enjoyed playing 2 Giant with my friends. Problem was both times we just had the same decks. We just I played a red-white deck with a bunch of Valiant cards, and whichever friend I was playing with just played the blue-green Elvish Visionaries and bounce spells, but also
what is that?
The common bounce spell that bounces one of your creatures, one of your opponent's creatures, actually
Run away
says
together.
2 creatures controlled by different players, and so you just bounce 2 opponent creatures as long as, the different people.
Oh, that's so unfair in Two-Headed Giant.
So it's just a 2-mana bounce 2 creatures thing, and we had 2 of them in our first pool and 3 of them in our second pool. So
that's actually it used to be cards that would randomly say each opponent,
there is a card in this set that's a 4-mana artifact that's at the beginning of combat. Each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life, and that card just grinds you into dust.
Mm-hmm.
It's stored all over again.
I don't remember what the card was. It was a 5-mana Rakdos card from Run the Ravnicas, though, that is just each opponent discards 2 cards at random.
Skull Rend or Skull?
Skull Rend, maybe. It is a Skull
mana.
something. That's correct, yeah. But yeah, each opponent discards 2 cards at random and loses 2 life. And that was the one I remember when I was I learning about Two-Headed Giant. Just wow, some cards are really busted in this format. But it was fun.
And playing that having your skull rent is less painful than being struck by lightning. Did you get hit by that lightning? No, I got lucky and my skull is in 2 pieces instead. My brain is leaking out, because I dodged a bullet. 3 damage is a lot of fucking damage. Lightning was a messed up Magic card.
Yeah, and nowadays it's True Bulk along with Bloodbraid Elf and every other card from that era.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, stuff that's perfect for standard and just standard is pretty rare these days.
Well, what's interesting is standard rotation is here. And I've seen a lot of people on Twitter recently talking about limited, which is interesting and cool and great. But actual standard rotation is here, as well as Bloomburrow Limited is hitting Arena this week, of course.
I was talking with my staff member about that earlier today, about how it feels like the first time since Throne of Eldraine that anybody has talked about a standard rotation.
Interesting. Go on.
Yeah.
Well, just that from 2012 to 2018, that was the model of the podcast every year, right? That was it was summer's coming up, summer's coming to a close. We talk about standard rotation that happens in the fall, and these cyclical patterns of every year just happen. And it has just been mono commander secret lair
for the last 4 years.
For since I think Throne of Eldraine is a good just line in the sand to draw of this set came out, Magic got turned on its head with Fires of Invention Oko and Once Upon a Time and all these other cards, and then Theros Beyond Death hit with Uro, and then COVID, and then we blink and then the ecosystem is different. And so this is
everything's been unprecedented since the start of COVID.
Right, and so now we have this Wild West of a 3-year standard where a set from early COVID just rotated in Crimson Vow and Midnight Hunt, and it's just a very feels like a post-anime time skip standard rotation is the best way I can put it.
That's the best way you can put it?
That's the only way I'm going to put it.
I've been talking a lot last year or so about how incredible standard is just as a play experience. How much I miss just being able to play with fresh cards every set.
Yeah.
Looking at a spoiler and actually caring about the cards that don't make it into the 20-year format of Modern.
Yeah.
Is kind of sick. I was looking through Bloomburrow spoilers. I saw Fable Passage and I wasn't just oh, damn, Fable Passage is going to be worthless now, more worthless than it was. Now I get to be well, that card's really cool with X card in Standard. It's almost like playing Standard gives people a reason to care about the game beyond what goes in their Merfolk deck they've played for 20 years.
And we
and
had like
their
a
commander deck.
visibly healthy standard format, like was it like 6 to 8 months ago, right after the Fable banning? Like that entire like 5 month stretch of when it was a premiered.
Standard's been good for a year. Yeah.
The RCQ
like,
season
prices,
was really
prices mattered for like that time.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The RCQ season was honestly a really healthy format where like Domain was kind of clearly the top dog, and there were these like really linear aggro decks to keep it in check in the form of like Toxic and Mono Red, and then whenever Toxic and Mono Red got good, Esper would get better, and whenever Esper got good, Domain would pick up, and it was just like this really cool triangular metagame. And I think we're going to see more of that because when Uro and Oko came out, play design was a quarter of the size it is now. And granted, they're printing twice as many, 3 times as many cards, but like they've also got 4 more years of practice of making reasonably balanced cards.
Yeah, and also the people even who are on like the casual side of the play design are not inexperienced Magic players, so just actually having more bodies to test all of the cards has kind of a cumulative effect.
Right. And like obviously right now we're in this weird situation where both Modern and Legacy are kind of in bad spots because of a lack of bans, but like the card Nadu clearly is an outlier.
Something happened there.
That is a design mistake where somebody where like 2 or 3 people didn't understand the way the card functionally would work.
Well,
that card screams to me. Go ahead.
I saw a really interesting tweet that someone suggested that this card was designed with Fury being in the format because the card is like the perfect Fury counter. Either you draw 4 cards or you draw 1 and they only kill your Nadu. And it's entirely possible that Fury was banned, and then in the development cycle they bumped Nadu out to make sure it saw play elsewhere. Maybe it was once per turn, right? And then they just didn't test with it again after they changed it.
Yeah.
Nadu,
that kind of thing could be very plausible.
Yeah, it screams to me card that got changed somewhere in development. I would imagine that at some point it only triggered once, right? There's that cards like that, something got changed somewhere late in the process. That broke it. And I don't know. That's always the story.
Well, and my response to that is going to be like, I am imagining people screaming into their microphones saying, "Oh, but like that just is a signal that you should never change anything late in design. Like obviously, if Skull Clamp happened, if Oko happened, if this happened, blah blah blah, then like just don't change cards late in design, you idiots." But like they do that with every other card, it's fine. Like that, you don't notice all the ones where they just do it and it's fine.
Right.
Why do our listeners have microphones?
Because everything has a microphone. Because we're always being
most
recorded.
Headsets have microphones.
Idiot.
Jason,
we live in a surveillance state, bro.
What do you know what a phone part of a cell phone is?
You're mean. You're all mean. So somebody listens to our podcast like this?
Bro, they're listening in their car, and they can just talk to their car.
Hey, no, it's fine. I listen to the podcast from here, and when they don't know an answer to something, I go, I'm screaming in my microphone.
If you can't see, if you're not watching on youtube.com/Brainstorm Brewery, Jason is deep throating his phone right now.
It's true. He is deep throating his phone.
In that I'm giving away, I'm meeting it in a parking garage to tell its secrets. Sure, I'm deep throating that phone.
Okay.
Yes, the 80s reference.
No, in 60s. Bro.
I lived in John Holmes Hall in college, and I showed up my first day, and my dad's like, "Johnny Wad, huh? Have a good 4 years, bud." And that was the talk we had about the birds and the bees. He's like, "All right, you're in John Holmes." The guy who the only 2 things people know about him is that he had a big dick and that he did so much cocaine that he had a briefcase full of cocaine.
No one knows
to his
anything
wrist
about him,
times.
Actually, just to be clear. No one knows
the actor, Johnny Wad, the actor from Deep Throat, everybody knows about. They made a movie about him starring Val Kilmer. What are you talking about? Nobody knows.
Oh my God. You're so old.
They partially based Boogie Nights on him. What do you mean nobody knows?
Oh my God.
John Holmes, dude. If he's not your hero, go yourself.
It's the year 2024, my guy.
I think it's so interesting how
we don't know who
is an
Shakespeare
outlier
was.
in the capabilities of play design. And I think that their average card design is totally reasonable. And I think that people put a lot of emphasis on the outliers when in reality, it's mostly fine. And I
thought
think
you were going to say Jason's movie references are an outlier compared to everyone else's references.
Oh, I was just trying to move on.
I think it was called Wonderland.
Yeah, it was.
I will move us on with Pick of the Week.
Pick of the Week. Pick of the week. Pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
I am going to grab the what's a phrase I can use to tilt somebody here?
Proverbial reins.
I was gonna say steering wheel of the train. I was gonna go steering wheel of the train, but
Okay.
and
trains. If they had steering wheels, then
Here
the
we
trolley
go.
problem would be way easier.
They could go down the middle.
Like, let the guy with the steering wheel do his job.
it makes it easier to derail part of the train so that it sits on both tracks and drifts.
Well, that's what I was going to say. They could fishtail more easily
Yeah,
and
they could
crush
do some
both
sick
sides.
Tokyo drifting.
Anyway,
Right.
go on, please, for the love.
I have to pick my pick of the week first so that nobody
Why?
else can
Why are we doing pick of the week?
Because I'm going to post a picture in the voice text channel and y'all are going to see what my pick of the week is.
All right, let's see it. By the way, pick of the week brought to you by MTGstocks, our very generous sponsor, where we all go for magic, financial, knowledge, news, updates. Check out the premium side of the website. All right, DJ, let's see it.
Oh, and
This
the
pick of the
articles
week-
are good too. Read the articles on
Read the
MTG.
articles.
This pick of the week is not on MTG stocks. You're going to have to do a little bit more digging to get its price info.
Okay, I'm
It's
into
a
it.
PSA authentic,
Cybertruck?
graded, whatnot.
It's like a fucking turducken of terrible shit.
It's
Every
a
person
whatnot
involved in
truck
the creation of this should be executed.
that's been graded by PSA. But here's
It's got
the question.
everything I like. It's got whatnot. It's got PSA. It's got a Cybertruck. Like, what is inside there? Elon Musk f***ing my wife? Like,
How's it? It's
you fucking
authenticated
wish,
by
Jason.
It's authenticated by PSA,
I
but it
want
doesn't
that
have
for
a
her.
grade.
if she's gonna cheat, I want her to hate it.
Oh,
Right? If my wife is gonna cheat, I want her to f- someone like Elon Musk.
oh my god! Why would PSA authenticate it but not grade it, man? Some copyright infringement.
How do you? It's a mint condition Cybertruck, so that's like a 4 tops.
Wait, they're all
I was
factory
saying,
damage.
A mint condition Cybertruck means that it won't explode, which means that it's like a Ford Pinto 10. It's like a diamond in the rough. Like
As long as it stays inside that box, it can't get stuck in like an inch of water.
I think
As long as it
PSA's
stays slabbed, it cannot annihilate any pedestrians. And honestly, we should all
True.
be thankful that PSA
That's
took
true.
the effort to contain this SCP style.
okay, but they copyright
See-
infringed. They copyright infringed the PSA logo. Just saying.
I think it might be a collaboration between Whatnot and PSA
Yeah.
and
Yep.
Tesla, but I
Here's a
PSA kind of
PSA.
seems like they would grade anything for the right price.
But they didn't grade it.
Here's a PSA.
Oh
Don't
my
buy a
God.
Cybertruck. Don't buy a fucking Cybertruck. It's like a blue check mark that costs $150,000. Don't do it.
We saw one in real life driving on the street recently.
We did too. There's
One
one
we've
in
ever seen.
Kalamazoo.
Yeah, I think we saw the only one.
Like all the liberal people that like took their kids to my daughter's preschool that had Teslas are now like, "Ugh," they got those apology bumper stickers.
there's
Like
an
I bought this
apology
before
bumper
I knew he
sticker
was
for a
racist.
Tesla.
I'm like, no, you didn't. We knew that before we knew what PayPal was. What are you talking about?
Tesla apology bumper sticker.
Yeah. It's like
Tesla apology bumper sticker sounds like a really good like 5th track on a Midwest emo album. It's like,
bought
Mom,
the-
I didn't
No, no,
mean
no,
to
I
crash
found
your
them. I-
Tesla.
There's a bunch of bumper stickers that say I bought this car before Elon lost his mind.
yeah.
I just got a Tesla, not Elon's brain. My Tesla is smarter than you and Elon. There's so many of these.
Yeah, it's a whole genre of like liberals in a Tesla. Like, if you're in a Tesla and you're like, oh god, they think I'm listening to the Daily Wire right now. I need to let them know that I'm
I
still
bought it
one of
before-
them.
This one's like blue and white in the Twitter old color scheme. I bought it before the Twitter stuff.
Bumper stickers are helpful, man.
I mean, if you go back, we've been pretty consistent when we said Elon Musk was awesome and better than Jeff Bezos, and it was lit that he sold flamethrowers. We've been very consistent in on him. If you go back and listen to After Hours, which you'd have access to if you were a patron who goes to patreon.com/BSB and gives us $20 a month, which is as little as $4 or $5 an episode. Thank you.
There you go.
$5 an episode is a lot to pay for a free podcast, but if you want to hear the actual funny parts that we're forced to cut out because our sponsors have asked us to, then you have to pay.
DJ, is the Cybertruck your actual pick of the week? By the way, we just recorded some After Hours, everyone at home. Or do you have a magic card for us this week, DJ?
I also have a magic card pick of the week for all you lucky listeners. My pick of the week is Mox Amber, which is a card that just continues to sell all the time. And I think it's kind of high risk, high reward, but I also don't see them ever... I think Mox Amber is a card that Wizards knows has a lot of reprint equity, and so they will continue to milk it like Mana Crypt. In that, like, I don't think this is a card they want to like print into the dust, but I do think,
it's
that
played less than Chrome Mox, so
That's
it'll probably
crazy to
have
me.
about as many printings as Chrome Mox.
Well, Chrome Mox is over $100 right now, so this is kind of like the analogy I'm going with here is that Mox Amber, or Chrome Mox is also a card that used to be like $40, $50, and if it continues to avoid reprints and just slowly get dripped into sets at Mythic, I think Mox Amber is the pick. I think Mox Amber can easily hit that. I think Mox Amber can easily hit that $60 to $70 mark, especially as they continue to print insane 1-mana legendary creatures like Tamio or like just very strong, efficient legends. I mean, I know Ragavan's like kind of unplayable right now, but like that is the kind of card that makes Mox Amber just do very crazy, silly things, and it's a Mox. Like this card was printed in Dominaria in 2018.
It was $5 at its low point.
It was terrible, but we all just had this inevitability clause of, but it's a Mox. And
I've made money on this card multiple times, and I feel like if I did the whole graph of when I bought and when I sold, I'd be sad. But also, I made money every time.
And you can't...
This card was up to $60 before it was reprinted as however you want to look at call it a reprint.
And
the retro
Brothers
frame
Wars,
stuff and Brothers
the
War.
The supply of Brothers War is very high. So many people cracked Brothers War. The supply of that set is infinite. And we have already seen other, what do you call them, like retro or schematic? We've already seen the other retro and schematic cards start to dry up. Like Mesmeric Orb spiked due to Mothman. Like the supply of that one got ate up. Aetherflux Reservoir is back to its previous 2-digit pricing.
Because it's still an Aetherflux.
That's what...
That stuff looks so cool, too. Like, preferentially, I'm buying that art to play it on those cards.
The schematic ones, like the not just the retro border, but the fully schematic ones, those are some of the coolest looking Magic cards they've made recently.
There was a dude named Eric Klar who used to do the blueprint where it was like half of a Sensei's Divining Top was blueprint and half was like the original art. That just looks so clean. That was Klar Bar Altars. I wonder if he's still doing it. I haven't seen his stuff in a while. It was Eric Klug and Eric Klar, and then Klug is the fucking Banksy of Magic the Gathering now. Like, good for him.
I do love that like every Klug piece just goes up to auction, and I'm like, that's kind of cool. I'd probably buy. There's a number I'd buy that at, and I just click on the auction. It's already $3,000 above the number I'd buy it at. And I'm just like, too rich for my blood, but it's like definitely in someone's wheelhouse.
10 years ago, you could pay Eric Klug a couple of grand to make a zombie token. So like,
I mean, the fact that like he used to just take commissions from anybody is crazy to me. Like he's always just been the best. And not to like denigrate any other altruists out there, because there are a lot of incredible people working in the space. It's just like, to me, he's the OG, he's the best. Just like it's so cool.
Yeah.
And like he's so much better than he was 10 years ago. He was the best 10 years ago when he sucked compared to how he paints now. That's the crazy thing. Like
I believe he's also
it's like he pushed the bar of what was possible for painting the whole time. I was watching him develop. It was crazy. Go ahead.
I think he's also pretty big into bouldering, so like thumbs up for that from me.
No, he's chill. He reminds me a lot of Sam, actually. Ristic Studies Sam. They're both just like chill people.
I saw a tweet from Patrick Sullivan this weekend about how Bloomburrow mechanics just kind of all work the way like people who don't know how Magic works can just make these weird granular mechanics work. Like you draft the red-green deck, you open a red-green seal pool, and like all your good cards are 4 mana, so you get to expend 4 a lot. Like they just made the good cards 4 mana, and then for the Valiant deck, it's like, oh, the card with the bunny in the artwork is the equipment that can trigger all of your Valiant creatures every turn. It's just like, there's so many little things connecting the ley lines in the set. Like,
People were
Bloomburrow is such
calling
a
this the
masterpiece.
next Innistrad. Like,
It's a masterpiece
in
of a
terms
set.
Yeah. Like, mechanically, you don't even have to like the anime aesthetic. It's just like a well-made set. They got
It's
all their
also-
horniest furries to just like do their best work. They've been working on this set for 5 years, making sure it's perfect.
This set's also really cool because, like, cards that would be kind of boring in other limited formats are just so cool in this set because they're in 6/6s. In one of the pre-releases that I played was playing Two-Headed Giant with one of my friends. We were playing against another of my friends, and we play like draw go for a couple turns. We're both at low life totals, and me and my friend draw. I draw a land. He draws the 6/6 Flash, Vigilance, Trample, Reach. And we both just kind of groan and pass the turn, and then our opponent plays their 6/6 Vigilance, Trample, Reach, and my friend just instinctively goes, "Whoa, that thing's so big! What does it do?" Picks theirs up, reads it, and they're just like, "Fuck, we're dead." And they send all in, and we just slam ours, and it's like, a 6/6 Flash creature for 6 is like not that impressive in most formats, but it's just so much bigger than everything else.
It's a giant moose.
Exactly.
It's huge in
Like,
this format. Yeah.
the fact that that feels exciting is, I think, a proof that this set's a triumph.
I think a regular size moose should be a 6/6. Because a moose will f you up worse than you think. Like, you're like, what's more dangerous, a lion or a moose? And you will say a lion, but you'd be wrong. A moose.
Well,
They're like
those people have
11
never
feet
seen an
tall.
elk, and they're like, "Oh, that is a prehistoric animal. That is a f***ing dinosaur."
They are megafauna.
It's like hippos kill 10 times as many people a year as lions in Africa. I was like, yeah, I believe that. A hippo will f you up.
Megafauna sounds like a Pokemon.
Sounds like a Pokemon game. Pokemon Flora
Pokemon
and Fauna.
Megafauna. Ooh, that would be a really
Megaflora
cool
and
game where it's
Megafauna.
like
That'd be
you're
sick,
like
yeah.
you're like a researcher and you're not actually catching Pokemon, like a Pokemon Legends Arceus type thing. What did you-
Taking pictures of them, perhaps.
No, I don't think that's what I would be doing. But that's maybe what you would be doing.
Pokemon Snap.
Pokemon Voyeur. It's like,
Pokemon
you got
Snap.
0 points. These pictures are terrible. It's like, I got all of their feet.
God. Jason plays Pokemon Snap different than the rest of us.
Pokemon Fap.
Pokemon Snap's the best game in the whole genre, and the best pick of the week you're
Doug
going to hear
Trio
this
got
week
6 feet. Yeah, I want to see
is mine. You can't see its feet;
dig
it's
underground.
underground.
Look at all 6 of them feet.
It doesn't
He's
have
rotating
feet.
the feet in his mind.
Rotating
It doesn't
the Doug
have
Trio.
feet. It doesn't have feet.
He's just moving the 3D
what you
sprite.
think.
What do you mean
trying
it
to
doesn't
find,
have
like-
feet? How
You
does
think
it
it's just
burrow?
wiggling? You think it's just wiggling a bunch of toes underneath the ground?
Yes.
That's not what it does. No,
So, okay,
they're
imagine
just
for a
little
moment,
hot dogs.
They use their hands and feet for digging. How else
Corbin,
would they burrow, you
Corbin.
idiot?
They're moles.
They're little hot dogs.
Corbin, I present to you Diglett and Doug Trio's moveset. Scratch, Night Slash, Aerial Ace. How does it learn these slash attribute moves, Corbin?
Cut
Are you
them
doing
with
this for
all
memory?
4 of your limbs.
Are you
It's not
doing
that
this
hard
from
to fucking
memory?
remember that, Corbin. Calm down.
You did that from memory, huh?
We
Does
don't have
that
children,
answer
so we don't
the
have to remember
question?
important things.
Yeah.
Oh,
DJ's Pokemon are his children. This guy remembers Doug Trio's move list.
Look,
This guy
You're
didn't just catch a
rotating-
Doug
you're
Trio
rotating
to
the
get it in
3D
his
sprite.
Pokedex.
I'm rotating the Smogon moveset webpage in my mind, like...
it's Bulbapedia. Come on.
No, it's Smogon is what he was talking about. He knows what he's talking about, you f***ing child.
Everyone. uses
Bulbapedia is for people
Bulbapedia.
trying to get together a good team for Soul Silver.
Yeah,
Bulbapedia
Bulbapedia
is
is trying
a
to
wiki.
learn. I have mastered... this is for
Anybody
people
who actually wants to look up movesets in an efficient manner, just type Cerebi after the name of the Pokemon, because it's the easiest site to control F on, because there's not multiple pages, nothing is f***ing couched under other tabs. God!
I use Bulbapedia.
That's fine, you're a casual. I would crush you in the marketplace of ideas, aka a Pokemon battle.
Doug Trio used Invisible Hand.
I would also never use Doug Trio, it's a dog Pokemon.
It is a.
Well,
dog
we were just
Pokemon.
talking about Doug Trio, weren't we? Should I have said Ghastly uses Invisible Hand?
Ghastly's
Why wouldn't
also
you
not
evolve
very
your
good.
Ghastly?
Ghastly's great in Little Cup.
Little cup.
I will f you up with a Gengar team.
Gengar's awesome. So
I really liked Mega Gengar.
I
That
think
guy
Gengar's
ruled.
good, right? You put them to sleep and you eat their whole dream. That's awesome.
that's
some
that's
Freddy
haunt.
Krueger
That's
shit.
Haunter.
That's
God.
What?
Gengar also can do
Haunter
that.
doesn't do that? I thought Gengar does
Haunter's
that.
whole thing, though. Like Haunter's whole thing is Dream Eater.
I don't know
Hunter's
lore,
whole
you
thing
piece
is
of
holding
shit.
an
I just know
Everstone
the
you get
fucking
from an
game.
NPC.
Like, whatever. Get
In
out
Snow Point City. I think they fixed that in the remakes of the games, which I think is weak. Let the
agree.
children learn.
Wait,
Hey,
what did they change?
Guess why he
There's
didn't have his Pidgey after the cruise ship?
No, Corbin, there is an NPC in Snow Point City in Gen 4. If you walk up to her and ask her to trade, she says, "Oh, would you like to trade my, I believe, Metacham? Maybe?"
Metacham for a Haunter. And
Metacham
when you
for
get
a
the
Haunter.
Haunter, it has a f***ing Everstone so it doesn't evolve. And she's just like, tee I'm so devious. And in the remakes of those games, they took off the Everstone so you can get a Gengar, and it's horse hockey.
That's way funnier though. Originally,
Oh yeah, to get shafted in a trade. Yeah, I had to learn in Diablo 2. Those kids got to learn about getting shafted in trades.
I mean, Ash learned on the St. Anne.
That's true.
All right, we should podcast.
Yeah, we should talk about pick of the week. I have a great pick of the week.
I wish. Go ahead. What is it?
My pick of the week? Hostile Investigator from The Big Score.
Hostile or hostile?
Hostile.
Okay. Because
Hostile
if you
investigator.
investigated
He's not-
hostiles, you'd be like, it's mostly bed bugs. Some pubic lice.
This card's seen a little bit of a higher price than where it's at right now, and I think the text on the card saying whenever one or more players discard a card, make a clue token is really, really compelling, because even if you discard, you make a clue. If your opponent discards, you make a clue. And the fact that this card has seen play in Pioneer and is on a bonus sheet in OTJ means I think this card has a much higher price ceiling than $6. There also currently is a bit of a direct premium, and there are buy lists that are approaching retail. This is the kind of card I don't mind just like grabbing 4 or 5 when I see them and just stash them away.
It's also really funny that it doesn't require you to make... It's like if they discard for cycling, or if they discard for like Tormented Voice or something like that, you're just...
Or you tick up Liliana the Veil, who's legal in Standard still.
Yes, good point.
That is very funny.
As a matter of fact, too, you play Liliana on 3, you play this guy on 4, it makes him discard triggers, and then you can activate Liliana again.
Yep.
I guess it only triggers once each turn, but
nope.
You're right, they do all work together, though. It's a lot of discarding throughout the deck, right? You can, I don't know what hand disruption beyond that's legal, but that's certainly a pretty solid core of a, Jun type deck, whether it's Jun colors or not.
Pre-rotation, one of the top decks in the format is just green-black mid-range. Already playing this card.
So I will provide an additional data point here. I agree with everything Cass said. Bonus sheet cards, especially good. Remember, this Big Score was supposed to be just an Aftermath-style set. Aftermath cards that are good are expensive, like Nissa, Sarkon. And so Hostile Investigator, TCG low, $4, market price $8 for the extended art one, sure. Card Kingdom sells it for $16.
And Card Kingdom sells it for $16.
Right,
and they're selling the other versions for $20. So like the Showcase Vault one is $20. Like this card is in demand.
I'm so glad Card Kingdom exists in the market, because there is no better indicator of what EDH players are willing to pay than Card Kingdom's retail price.
This card both being something that's playable in Standard and Commander, I always talk about this, especially with Jason's picks, like, when things have multiple points of demand, it's so valuable, because if a Commander player wants to buy it and a Standard player wants to buy 4, that's 5 copies off the market for every kind of person that exists.
Yeah, and Hostile Investigator is like one of those that is likely to be a 3 or 4 of in the decks it goes into, but is also just so generically good in Commander that it fits into a lot of decks. The Showcase
And as much
version,
as they're trying to make loot a thing, no one gives a about loot.
Well, you can get the Showcase version of it right now for $10 if you're the type of person who is looking for one for Commander and want a cool version before it's $20.
And then you can sell it to Star City Games for $10. So the spread is non-existent.
There you go. All right, I'll jump in here with a, obviously this is a card spiking due to new cards, but it's an older one itself. The Old Nut Collector from Dominaria Remastered.
Nut.
6 mana, 1/1. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put create a squirrel. All squirrels get +2 as long as you have.
Did you say this card's from Dominaria Remastered?
Well, the original's from
Card's from
Odyssey,
Onslaught, right? Or
it's from
Odyssey?
Odyssey.
Odyssey.
Yeah. And at one point it was like a $50 card for a hot minute. That version come back down to $3, which is the same price as the Dominaria remastered version. I think there's maybe upside in both, but I can just tell you that looking at the charts, the graphs, there's been a little bit of momentum already on the Dominaria remastered version and none on the Odyssey version. So I don't know if that's an SEO thing or that's an actual preference among players.
The cheapest available. The cheap one's got to dry out before the price can move, I think, on the older ones.
Yeah, well, there's also the borderless one, which is only $1. So definitely some options. But yeah, we're seeing movement on obviously with Bloomburrow, we're talking about how popular it is. There's a mess of squirrels. Basically, anything squirrel related continues to be good. Yeah, nut collector is obviously just going to keep growing, whichever version you like.
She dunk on my dough until I nut.
Go ahead, Jason.
I just want to talk about the best card at MH3, which is Springheart Nantuko, and how it's under $5 still.
That card's cool.
Even in foil. The foils are under $5. Non-correct. Non-incorrect. And I realize I've said that before. If you read anything I said about Ignoble Hierarch, you're like, well, Jason doesn't have the mojo anymore. But, like, I'll be if foil Springheart Nantuko is sub $5 in a year.
Springheart Nantuko is responsible for one of the most insane sentences about Legacy I've ever said in my life, which is, I'll beat your ensnaring bridge by decking you out, because I'm just going to loop Endurance over and over again and attracts a trigger multiple times a turn. Like, this card enables the most ridiculous stuff. It's also just the best on-rate landfall token maker ever. And it's an enchantment.
Yeah. And it's an enchantment. There's it would sound hyperbolic to say what I really feel about this card. Under $5, especially in foil, non-correct. Foil and non-foil, any version of Springheart Nantuko under $5 is not correct. Please buy until that's not the case.
Well, yeah, there's definitely been some movement on it, so you're unlikely to find any super
it's near its
cheap
historic
copies.
low.
Yeah, well, it's been that's what I mean. Is there's been movement on it down because people are associating it, I believe, with Nadu and saying that when the Nadu deck goes, it's gonna so. If you look at Nadu's price graph, it's despite being the best deck in Modern, and clearly people are playing them. The price just goes down and down on it because no one wants them. Springheart Nantuko is a key part of that deck. So it's just been kind of floundering, and I can't help but wonder if it's, kind of like getting caught up in the same, oh, that's a Nadu card, I'm not buying that. Which is just caused the price to
EDH players are very aware of this card. It's in 4% of all green decks in our database. So it's already in almost 15,000 decks.
That's a ludicrous statistic for a card
to
already be in that many decks.
That's a massive number.
15,000 in the last couple of months is people are very aware how this card is.
This card at 2 mana is better than Progenitor Mimic. At 6 mana. This card is better than that by a lot.
Yeah.
This is like the second or third best card in Modern Horizons 3.
I called it the best card in Modern Horizons 3 because I only care about EDH.
I mean, I think it's pretty definitively Nadu because it's like a tier 1 C EDH deck now. But I think second place is pretty firmly in this guy's court.
Yeah, this card is.
Yeah, Nadu has 100% win rate because anytime somebody pulls out a Nadu deck, I'm like, I'm not gonna
do that.
I'm gonna play with somebody else.
I picked up a factory seal Nadu recently, so I can build.
Ooh, there you go.
I could go for the factory seal Nadu. I think I need a lightning greaves, which I don't know if that exists, but
in theory, a packet of FNM lightning greaves.
So you'd have to buy 25 of them.
I don't know if it's the top card of any secret lair or if it is the bonus card of a secret lair.
It was a bonus. There's the weird schematic one that was bonus for. Or was that Swiftfoot Boots?
I have Swiftfoot Boots. That's why I'm wondering. Because I already own Swiftfoot Boots and Rogue's Passage and some of the other schematics like that.
Sure.
So someone will have to send you a Betrayers of Kamigawa completely sealed tournament pack that has a foil Shuko on top.
I don't know if it does it have that on top, or is it?
It would if it was the foil. right? For Betrayers? I actually don't remember. That was college.
A sealed Salvat or Hachette copy. That cards were sealed individually in plastic in the magazines.
Oh,
Ooh.
Lord.
That probably existed at one point. It might not exist anymore, but like that is
Sacre le bleu. That's a real possibility.
Good luck, have fun.
Yeah.
Bone show.
My current wish list. I actually just picked up a Tivar Jubilant Brawler, which is huge for the deck. My current wish list is a revised booster pack that has been searched to have Brain Geyser as the rare for Garth.
That was quite the specific ask.
And I will pay additional bounties.
Look, I know you searched this pack. I won't be mad. Just tell me where the Brain Geyser is.
I will pay additional bounties if Regrowth, Disenchant, or Terror are in the pack, like for each additional copy of those cards.
Yeah. It's like a compounding bounty.
Should we spend any time talking about the people that are using the $10,000 tabletop use in a lab only CT scanner to search packs?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
And how that shouldn't
story.
matter for Magic because every Magic pack has a foil in it already.
It is really funny that someone's using like real scientific equipment to search for Pokemon foils.
It's even
Well,
funnier
like
if
you
just
could have done it
picture-
before with a centrifuge. Like with a centrifuge has, you can go down to like sub microgram levels of accuracy and tell the difference between 15 cards and 14 cards and one foil card. But you got to use like a really sensitive balance, and most people don't have something that goes to 5 decimal places.
I think it's really funny if you picture somebody like a real patient in the waiting room, and then you wheel out the booster box in a wheelchair.
Yeah. Sorry. Look, we're a little backed up. We got to scan these 36 bad boys, and then we'll take a look at your cancerous hip.
A doctor walks out of the OR.
Well, if
It's not a foil.
if they're paying
Takes off his
enough-
mask, throws it in the trash. God!
I lost another one!
Does your insurance cover the procedure for the Magic cards?
God, it was a f***ing repack every time. It never gets easier. If you're a Pokemon box that was opened over COVID and you were a repack, you may be entitled to compensation because you joined a class action lawsuit called every booster box opened over COVID was fraudulent.
I do like the idea of somebody purchasing a booster pack of Pokemon that has been searched to have a foil in it. They paid extra for it, and it also comes lightly irradiated. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Well,
Just
if
enough
it
to
was
get the
a
Geiger counter a little prickly.
A couple of
if it was
clicks,
a
yeah.
Fallout, if it was Fallout,
Less than
crossover.
a banana. Everyone talks about, like, if you were talking about, oh, you get a slight amount of radiation. If it's less than a banana sitting on your counter, shut up. Like,
You get radiation.
I've been
from
irradiated
bananas.
with like macro curies, and I'm still ticking.
Wait, shut up!
Nobody's got
What
the
you
radiation
get
I've got.
irradiated from bananas?
That's a scale they use, right? It's like the radiation measurement.
There
scale
is
in
radio
bananas.
potassium in bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it bad
So
to put them up your...
bananas are subtly radioactive, but it's like barely above background.
And because we're doing things in reverse order this week, to wrap up the show this week, it is time for some Breaking Bulk.
Breaking bulk time. Breaking bulk time. Break.
Oh, yeah, Breaking Bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking bulk. The end.
That was a gross segue. You should feel bad.
Oh yeah,
You can't segue
that was
from
grosser
nothing.
than the segue Kevin
No,
James.
you
used
can't.
in
You
Paul
can't. A
Blart.
segue means bridging from one thing to another. There's nothing to bridge. This was. It just is what it is. If
Actually,
for those of you
Segway's a weird
listening,
little scooter thing.
for those of you listening at patreon.com/bsb, you'll know exactly what went on there. But for everyone else, look, there is no segue there. There is no segue.
There's
Hell,
no
Champions of
episode.
Kamigawa Blue Uncommon Go.
Oh Jesus!
What?
The
Kamigawa?
Champions is the little arch. Is it Ideas
Yes,
Unbound?
that
That's
is
the
Champions
common.
is the Tory Gate. Yes.
Yeah.
Blue on
Okay.
Does it with your hand size?
Does it search for an arcane spell and put it into your hand?
Neither of those. I mean,
Is it a
no.
creature?
No.
Does it increase your maximum hand size by
No.
1? Is what Jason's asking.
No, that was
Is it a
Satyrs.
ninja?
No.
No, ninjas was betrayers. Champions
spirit.
was the Sortami.
The untapper.
No.
The like Twiddle
Whatever you're
Storm
about to
card.
say no.
Oh,
Twiddle
Squelch.
Storm card.
No. Squelch, good guess, but no.
Wow, not Squelch. That was like
The original,
that
the
spiked to like
busted,
$6 10 years ago.
the original busted counted Hinder.
No.
Oh, Hinder would have been a good guess
Also a
too.
good
It's not
guess.
Hinder or Squelch. We're naming all the blue uncommon non-creatures in that set. It's not a
Yeah,
creature, right?
I was proud of that guess.
It's not
Is
a
it an
creature.
enchantment that like lets you look at players' hands?
It is an enchantment. It does
Or
not
a
let you look at
swap.
players' hands.
It's uncommon, so it's not freed from the real. Gee. Oh, is it? Oh my God. Okay, I
Trade.
know the
routes.
art, but that's all I know. I've never seen this.
I know.
Describe the art.
no.
Well,
If you know the art, then you know the card.
Describe the
that's
art to
not
me.
true.
Dampen thoughts.
It's a big wheel. It's a big door wheel.
A door wheel.
Door wheel.
Okay, it's not the one I was thinking of.
Dampen thoughts.
No.
What's a
that's
door
common,
wheel?
and it's from not Champions.
So it's not Evermind either. God, have
I'm
we
gonna-
named every blue uncommon from that set?
Evermind could guess. Evershroud.
I thought this was going to be an easy one. You all have guessed every card except this one.
It's probably a
the
card I
ninja.
thought was in a different set.
Yeah.
the
same.
ninja.
Corbin, we already went over ninjas.
Shit.
Ninjas and Betrayers.
Honden
I don't
of
know.
Seeing Winds.
The Honden,
Oh.
you son of a...
That's dumb. We're dumb.
I forgot that cycle was in that.
That card's from
We
Turtle
named every
Masters.
site. We named every set of cards in that stupid set.
I'm so mad. God damn.
All
Yeah, that
of the
one's
Hondens are like
dumb.
$3 roughly.
It was too obvious.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
They jumped somewhat recently with other shrine mechanics, I believe. They got a commander at some point. There's a whole thing. But Honden of Seeing Winds has not gotten a real reprint. It's just from Champions, Eternal Masters, and then the list. So none of them have gotten like Secret Laird or printed into the ground or anything like that. And this is a cycle of cards that if you have all of them or if you have quantity, you can really just like push your numbers on it and try to get those multi-card sales. So
Yeah,
List
just
your
somebody,
Honden
if they
of
can
Seeing
buy the
Winds.
whole deck from one person, they
Yeah.
prefer that.
list them for like $3 to $6 and you will be happy. Beginning of your each upkeep, draw a card for each shrine you control.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's one of the craziest ones.
Yeah. All right, Jason, what do you got?
Should I go again? Springheart Nantuko is the best card in MH3.
Okay. How about a breaking bulk, though?
Oh, is that what we're doing now? Shit,
What
where's
is
mine?
green rare from Modern Horizons 3?
Oh, I have
Springheart Nantuko.
Got there.
a black uncommon from Wilds of Eldraine.
Not
Is this
Wilds
the
of
one that's
Eldraine. Ego Drain. Did that get said? Sorry.
No,
Is it the one that's in like a jumpstart only?
I don't think so. I think this was in boosters.
It's a black uncommon from Wilds of
black
Eldraine.
uncommon
I
from
drafted
Wilds
this
of
set a
Eldraine.
bunch.
Is it Undying Evil with set mechanic?
It's not. It's actually a creature. I'll give you.
Is it the 1/1 Surveil 1 fairy that you can exile from your graveyard to draw a card?
It's not.
Does it make?
Oh,
a
is it the rat? Does
Yeah,
he
I was
sack
gonna
something?
What are we dancing around?
I said it makes a. It's like a creature that makes a food, then it sacks a food to do something.
Okay.
Toadnaz.
When you sacrifice a food, create a 1/1 rat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm rotating the card in my mind.
see the
Experimental
art.
confectioner.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not
Experimental
think of that card. Never
confectioner
mind.
is approaching $5 retail.
Is
I
that
get
not
these
the
in
card
bulk.
from-
I buy from Lunatex. Maybe you don't buy from Lunatex, but like this has been in bulk. Experimental confectioner is just a card that not many people realize is worth more than most of the rares in the set.
This card was not available in play boosters. It was only available in set
Yeah,
boosters
set
and
boosters.
jumpstart, I guess.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
so that's
it's-
why it's
so
a little
this-
bit more rare.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought. Yeah.
So any of these cards like this, if you look at the collector number, it will not have a slash, so it won't say 274 out of 274. It will just be a big number and no slash over it. So this one is number 0314, which means that it is not in the traditional set.
Forgot to check that. Well, that's
TJ, is that
I
my
said it
Modern
was the
Horizons?
thing you guys thought it might be. So, haha, got him.
My Modern Horizons cards don't say that.
I believe that is just for standard set releases.
Oh, good to know. Because I actually was looking at that the other day for something and noticed that they didn't have the slash, but that would make sense if it's only the same Standard set really learned something new. All right, y'all are about to learn something new because I have a Modern Horizons 3 Black Uncommon, and none of you know this set.
Modern Horizons 3 Black Uncommon, is it the sacrifice a creature, each opponent sacrifices a creature?
No.
Is it the Marionette Apprentice? That card's a common, isn't it?
God damn it, it is Marionette Apprentice.
Oh, it's, yeah. I played
That's
that
like
card in Modern
that's like
Yawgmoth,
one of the-
brother. I got
It's one of the best cards in the set. It's sick.
I got 2 of them right here.
I got
Oh,
a
yeah.
foil French one in my EDH deck.
Well, there you go. It's a 2-mana 1/2 with Fabricate 1. Whenever another creature artifact controls put into a graveyard from the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life, and that is the line of text that makes it worth $1.
It's Disciple of the Blood Artist.
Yeah. It's good.
It's a fuck
Also,
magic card. It's
By the
so
way,
good.
this set has at least a dozen uncommon or better breaking bulks, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's got a lot of 75-cent and up uncommons in it.
Not even counting the MDFCs that are all worth like a little bit because they were more rare than other uncommons relatively.
Right. That's certain. Yeah, that's a lot of them. But yes, like Amp Raptor, Unstable Amulet, Disciple, or the Apprentice, right? Vexing Bauble,
the
Urza's Cave,
Apprentice.
like just the basics.
You're
the full art.
fired.
There's a lot of great stuff there. Here's the one that I'll get you all. I'll just give it to you instead of saving it for next week. But Consigned to Memory is actually the most expensive uncommon in the set.
Everybody in Baltimore was asking us if we had that card.
Cards
Yep.
just kind of stifle.
Everybody in Baltimore was asking us if we had Consign of Memory.
Yep, 1 mana, 1 blue, 1 replicate for 1, so you can pay 1 to copy it. Counter target triggered ability or colorless spell. It does a lot, and as a result, it's not a DFC or anything, but it is $5, the most expensive card
Is that Urza
in
the
the
artwork?
uncommon set. Maybe.
Is he sad about birds? What is going on?
I don't know much about
Card Kingdom
the magic
has
lore, but-
$3.50 copies still available. Star City has not restocked at $1.50.
No, I imagine they haven't.
So this is probably a $5 card that's still available for $3.50 on Card Kingdom. So
There you go. Get it if you need it.
smoke them if you want them.
I have a
All right, Cass, what
Brothers
do you got?
War artifact. Rare.
And
Is
it's a
it
bulk.
a bonus sheet card or is it actual Brothers War?
Actual Brothers War.
What is it? I'm curious.
Is it the one where you tap to put a 1/1 counter on all your artifact creatures?
No.
Well, I'm done guessing. This could be 70 things, and I don't know what they all are.
Pass.
What's the card?
You giving up? You're all giving up so easily?
This is pick of the week.
We don't
Oh
care.
shit!
not
This is
pick of the
breaking bulk. Oh no!
You
Wait
di-
a minute.
You dumb bungus.
Also, I have no idea.
It's Stone Brain.
Oh,
That card's
yeah,
like
that's cool.
$1.50 still.
It's
The
Stone
card
Brain.
is seeing more play recently because it is kind of a way to deal with Nadu out of Karn boards. It is a colorless memory extraction effect. Granted, at kind of a subpar rate, but this card is decent and will continue to see play. I think it is not actually that strong most of the time. However, it solves a problem, and sometimes you have to play a weak card to solve a problem.
Enough people play Karn decks across various formats to just want one. You know.
It also is reasonably decent if there's a combo deck considered you have to beat somehow.
Yeah, and just exiles it. If you need the effect, you need the effect. All right. Well, there you go, everybody. I think that does it. We want to give a shout out to our other sponsor, of course, Coalesce Apparel and Design. Best place on the internet to go get your Magic merch, whether that is from this podcast or any of your other favorite shows, which are represented on there. So go check out Coalesce Apparel and Design. Use that gift code
They have stickers.
Brainstorm Brewery.
Get
Buy
one of your
stickers.
listen to me. Get a t-shirt. Get it slabbed.
Get it authenticated by PSA.
Uh-huh.
Wear the slab. Get in your Tesla. The rest is up to you. The world is your oyster. That's as far as I'm gonna spoil your life for you.
You'll have a Tesla if you've been buying our Breaking Bulks and Pick of the Week. Don't buy our Breaking Bulks. Pick them out of bulk. Buy Picks of the Week. Whatever. Buy our Breaking Bulks. Who cares? You got money to play. You got fucking Tesla money.
Good advice, Jason. Good advice. And on that note, everybody, thank you so much for listening to Brainstorm Brewery. Thank you to all of our sponsors and, of course, our patrons, our listeners, those of you who truly make this podcast possible by going to patreon.com/BSB. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Hopefully next week I will have air